Hi everyone, I'm Matthew John and welcome to this week's Weekly Market Pulse. Well, if we have a look at the auction clearance rate on the weekend, in Melbourne we're actually down to 43.5%. It's a substantial drop from where we were at this stage last year at 66.9%. And it's actually the first time that Sydney has outperformed Melbourne in terms of the preliminary auction clearance rates on the weekend. So Sydney was actually sitting at 48.5%. And as I said, Melbourne at 43.5%. So the first time we've seen that change in quite a while, probably since late last year when the market sort of peaked. And very surprising to see Melbourne obviously drop from hovering around the mid to high 40% to down into the 43.5. And obviously that's the preliminary clearance rate with the results that were recorded on the Saturday and on the weekend just gone. So what happens between the Monday and the Wednesday is the REIV, the Real Estate Institute of Victoria, do spend that time trying to chase up the results that weren't actually recorded on the Saturday, and then they'll release another report or another clearance rate on the Wednesday. Now, in the current market, the majority of the time that clearance rate is lower than the one that was originally recorded on the Saturday. So I wouldn't be surprised if that 43.5% for Melbourne actually drops down to around the 40% and potentially even in the high 30%, depending on the results that are recorded. So very interesting to see where Melbourne's sitting at the moment in terms of the auction clearance rate. It's been no surprise that the market has obviously cooled this year, and we are coming up to December very quickly now, and time is running out for people to get the properties on the market. There is still a lot of stock on the market, as we said, but we're really at the point of no return essentially this week and next week, that if you do want to put your property on the market, it pretty much has to go online this week or very early next week at the absolute latest. If you are looking at doing an auction, maybe a twilight on the 17th, 18th or 19th of December, but most auctions will subside on the Saturday, the 15th of December, I should say. So if you are looking for properties, do know that this is probably the last week that you will see the new ones pop up. But at the same time, we've said it every week, fantastic buying conditions. As a vendor, the last thing you want is your property to be around over the Christmas and New Year's period. So if you are looking to buy, this is the time to get out there and put in offers on properties, because no one wants their property to hang around over that period, and they'll be very, very motivated to sell before then. Now, looking up to this Saturday, it's a big week of auctions planned again this week, and we do have the Victorian state election and obviously the voting will be open for everyone on the Saturday. So will that affect the auctions? Most auctions are going ahead as planned. There doesn't seem to be many agents in the area or around Melbourne that have changed their auction dates because of the voting for the state election. It does actually mean there'll probably be a lot of people out and about as well, and most auctions are going ahead as normal as in the time that was originally scheduled. So it will be interesting again to see what happens. Will that actually help with more people out and about, excuse me, over that period of time, or will that potentially hurt the auction clearance rates again? We'll have to keep a very close eye on that one. But that's all for this week. Look forward to seeing you on next week's Weekly Market Pulse. Thanks again.